I took her on a 10-year anniversary trip.
Candlelight. Beach.
The works. She said she needed a walk. I followed. She met him at the shoreline. I heard her say, "He's clueless. I just need one more week." I sat alone at dinner that night, smiling. Because back home, her secret was already spilling out, and when she landed, what she walked into was nothing like what she left behind. I married Brooke 10 years ago. We met at a little bar near River Street in Savannah. I was there with a couple of guys from work. She spilled her drink on me, said sorry about 5 times, touched my arm, then offered to pay for the dry cleaning. It was all so casual, like it just happened. I believed it. That was the first time she lied to me. Back then, I thought I got lucky. She was smart, had this calm voice that always made people lean in. She was the type who remembered birthdays, baked cookies for neighbors, always knew the right thing to say when I had a rough day. She didn't yell or nag. She played the long game. We dated for 2 years, then got married in a small ceremony outside Charleston. She picked the spot, this old bed and breakfast with mossy oak trees and a swing hanging from a huge branch. We didn't have much money. I had just started my HVAC business. She worked at a small floral shop. We built slow, careful, steady. Or so I thought. No kids, just us and our dog Boomer. He was a sweet golden retriever we got from a shelter. She used to say, he was our starter baby. Every Christmas, we'd take a picture of him in a sweater. People joked we were the perfect couple. We were the ones friends called when they needed a calm voice or someone to watch their house while they were out of town. But the crack started showing about a year ago. She got a new phone and started guarding it like it was gold. Turned the screen away when she texted. Would leave the room to take calls, always saying it was her mom or her sister. I noticed she started staying out later, running errands, but there was never anything to show for it.
No broshibaks. No receipts.
Nothing. I asked her about it once. She got defensive fast. Said I was being paranoid, said maybe I should see someone about my trust issues. That one hit hard. So I backed off. But I didn't forget. I started watching. And what I saw made my stomach turn.
She wasn't just distracted.
She was slipping. Leaving hints. Staring at her phone, smiling. Repeating weird phrases in conversation I knew weren't hers. One time she said, "That's what he said," then caught herself and changed the subject. She never said things like that before. That's when I started digging. Quietly. I copied her phone's backup to my laptop. Took me a while to figure it out, but I did. Text messages. Photos.
Notes.
One number kept showing up with saved contact name Taylor, but the texts were wrong. They weren't about flower orders or family. They were personal. Intimate. I found one that read, "I can't believe he still has no clue. I'll tell him soon. Just need time." That was 2 weeks before our anniversary. So I played along. I smiled. I kissed her goodnight. I acted like the same dumb husband she thought I was. Then I booked the trip. 3 nights at a beachfront resort in Amelia Island. Fancy dinner under a tent with candles, music, the works. I wanted it to be the kind of thing she'd remember, because I already knew what I was going to do. That night, we got dressed up. She wore a soft blue dress. I wore the shirt she bought me for my birthday. We ate lobster and pasta, drank wine. I tried to hold her hand. She flinched. After dessert, she looked out at the ocean and said, "I need some air. Just a short walk." I told her I'd wait at the table. She took off her shoes and walked down the beach. I waited 10 minutes. Then I followed. The moon was bright, no clouds. I saw her up ahead, near the dunes, with a man. He was wearing a white shirt and khaki shorts. He looked like a guy on vacation, relaxed, smiling. I stayed in the shadows, just close enough to hear. She said, "He's clueless. I just need one more week." The man laughed and pulled her close. She didn't even hesitate. She kissed him like she meant it. I felt cold. Not angry, not shocked. Just cold, like a part of me had shut off. But the truth was I already knew. This just confirmed it. I turned and walked back to our table.
Sat down.
Finish my wine. Because while she was lying on a beach, thinking she was getting away with everything, back home, her secret was already coming out. She came back about 30 minutes later, cheeks red like she'd been running. I acted like I didn't notice. Told her the waiter had offered us another dessert, but I told him no. She smiled, sat down, and picked at what was left of her wine. That night in the room, she didn't want to touch me. Claimed her stomach hurt. I said, "No problem," and turned over. She had no idea I was wide awake, staring at the wall, counting down the hours until we got back home. Because while she was whispering lies into some stranger's ear, the truth was already bleeding out in the place she thought was safe. Before we left for the trip, I forwarded the messages I found to her sister, her closest friend, her boss at the floral shop, even to a few of our mutual friends from the neighborhood. I didn't add a message. Just screenshots with her name clearly on top. Her sister replied within the hour. "What is this? Is this real?" I never wrote back. Her boss didn't say anything at all. Just saw the message. But I knew her well enough to guess how that would go. Brooke had always bragged that her boss trusted her more than anyone. That shop was like a second home to her. Before we flew home, I made one more move. I contacted a lawyer. A good one. I'd met him through a guy I'd done HVAC work for last year. Told him what was happening, sent him the proof. We met for breakfast the morning we were supposed to leave. Brooke thought I was out for a run. I handed the lawyer everything. He said, "We'll file the second you touch down." At the airport, she held my hand. Like nothing happened. In the car ride home, she talked about how maybe we should go visit her parents next weekend. She asked me if I thought we should repaint the living room. I said, "Sure. Let's talk about it tomorrow." When we pulled up to the house, there was a moving van outside. 2 guys were loading up boxes. She looked confused. "What the hell is this?" I parked, got out, and said, "You should go inside." She followed me to the front door. I unlocked it and walked in. On the kitchen counter, there was a folder. Inside it, divorce papers, pictures of her and the guy on the beach, the printed texts, and a note from her boss saying she was fired. Her sister's message was also there, handwritten. It said, "I don't know who you are anymore." Brooke stood there, mouth open. Didn't say a word at first. Then she tried crying. Said, "It was just a mistake. We weren't even serious. I was gonna stop it." I didn't answer. She screamed then. Said I was cruel. Said I ambushed her. I said, "You told him I was clueless. You were wrong." She stormed out of the house, slammed the door so hard a picture frame fell. I picked it up. It was the one from our wedding day. I looked at it for a long time. Then I put it in a box with her other things. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't just stop at the person who did it. It spreads. Like a leak you didn't catch in time. 2 days after she left the house, I started getting messages. Her mom texted first. "Call me. I don't understand what's happening." Then her cousin, who I hadn't talked to in months. "Brooke is saying you're lying. She says you faked those messages. That you're trying to ruin her life because you're bitter." I didn't respond to either of them. I just forwarded the texts again, plus a few audio clips I'd recovered from her phone backup. One where she actually said, "I wish I could just erase him and start over." I didn't hear back after that. But she wasn't done. She posted a long story on Facebook claiming I was abusive, that I was cold, distant, that the truth would come out in court. People started taking sides. Her friends from work, at least the ones who didn't know yet, shared the post. One even commented, "You deserve better, girl." That one got to me. So I messaged that woman directly. Told her I had screenshots, dates, phone records, pictures. Told her I'd be happy to show her the truth. I wasn't threatening her, just giving her a choice. 2 hours later, her comment disappeared. The court date was set 2 weeks later. I thought she might finally go quiet. She didn't. Instead, she showed up at the courthouse with a man. Not the same guy from the beach. This one looked younger. Nervous. Like he didn't know what he'd walked into. My lawyer leaned in and said, "She's trying to paint a picture. You're controlling. She's scared. She needs support. I nodded.
Didn't say anything.
The hearing was short. Too short. The judge looked through the stack of evidence we provided, barely looked at Brooke. He asked if she wanted to dispute any of the evidence. She started to speak, then stopped. We walked out of that courtroom, and I felt nothing. No victory. No relief. Just tired. But it wasn't over yet. Because 3 days later I got a call from my bank. Brooke had tried to access our joint savings account, even though we'd already frozen it per court order. She used some old check copies to try and get a wire transfer through a smaller branch location. She almost got away with it. Almost. The banker on the phone sounded uneasy. She said, "Mr. Carlyle, we flagged a transfer attempt this morning for $14,200 from your joint account. It was blocked, but the person had some of your old account verification forms." I felt my stomach twist. She was in person? Yes, sir. At the Daniel Island branch. She had identification and matching account numbers. We filed a report with our fraud division. We'll also be notifying your attorney. I thanked her, hung up, and sat in silence for a few minutes. The audacity hit harder than the cheating. She hadn't just betrayed me emotionally, she was trying to rob me. I drove straight to the branch, asked to see the footage. The manager said they couldn't show me, but they confirmed it was Brooke. She smiled the whole time, they said. Claimed the money was for legal expenses. The thing is, that money was never for her. It was savings for a new work van. I had a contract lined up for a new HVAC project, my biggest yet. If I lost that money, I'd have to pull out, maybe even shut the business down. I called my lawyer. He moved fast. Filed for a restraining order and an emergency hearing. He also filed a motion to request full financial control until the divorce was finalized. A few days later, I found out why she was so desperate. The guy from the beach? His name was Clay. He was married, with 2 kids. His wife had found out the same week I did, and kicked him out. Brooke thought he was going to leave everything for her.
He didn't.
He ghosted her the day after their beach kiss. Never responded to her texts again. Changed his number. I only know this because his wife messaged me. Turns out she'd hired a private investigator after suspecting him for months. She had pictures of them at restaurants and parking lots, and yes, on that beach. Same night. Same dress. Same kiss. She said, "I thought you might want these." No charge. I already got what I needed. It was surreal. 2 strangers bonding over the same wound. I sent the photos to my lawyer. Not because I needed more evidence, but because I wanted a copy framed and mailed to Brooke anonymously, with just one line typed at the bottom. "You said I was clueless, but you forgot I build systems. And I don't leave leaks behind." 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear from her directly, but she was still trying. She filed a counterclaim in court, saying I was emotionally abusive. Said I had a controlling nature, and tried to manipulate her into staying in a dead marriage. Her lawyer asked for half my business, half the house, and monthly spousal support. I remember reading the paperwork at my kitchen table, thinking, she really believes this. But here's what she didn't know. I had kept records. Every dollar spent. Every upgrade in the house. Every HVAC contract I signed. The business was set up as an LLC in my name only. The house. My parents helped us buy it, but the deed was in my name. She signed off on that 10 years ago when we got married. Said she didn't care about stuff like paperwork. Now it mattered. And now it was too late. The final hearing came fast. She showed up looking worn down. Not the Brooke I knew. Her nails weren't done. Her hair was tied up in a messy bun.
No makeup.
She looked like someone clinging to a raft in the middle of a storm she created. I sat across the room, calm. Not smug.
Just done.
The judge didn't even let her finish her sob story. My lawyer laid it out. Evidence, timelines, proof of attempted theft, proof of her affair, messages, financials, everything. Clay's wife had even signed an affidavit confirming the affair from her end. When it was over, the judge leaned back and said, "Mrs. Carlyle, I've seen a lot of ugly divorces. but I haven't seen one where someone self-destructed this completely without a single person helping them. He granted me full ownership of the business. The house. No alimony. She got her clothes, her car, and whatever was in the storage unit. That's it. Outside the courthouse, she tried to talk to me. I just made a mistake, she said, voice shaking. Clay lied to me. I thought he loved me. I stared at her. You told him I was clueless, I said. You thought I'd never find out. You didn't make a mistake. You made 100 of them. On purpose. She wiped her eyes. So that's it. No, I said. You still have to pay for the account fraud. Her face dropped. That hadn't hit her yet. My lawyer had filed charges with the police. She'd signed a document trying to impersonate me. That's a felony in South Carolina. Bank fraud. Her new court date was already on the books. I walked to my truck, got in, and started the engine. Behind me, she just stood there. No screaming. No begging. Just silence. I didn't watch her fade in the rearview mirror. But I knew she was